and our strategic interest. Like I said before, I want to borrow something from them. I want to learn this their, what they are saying, because this is now the highest level, of international politics. So what we do now is to protect our moral interests. Our moral interest has been violated, has been rubbished in Nigeria. Nigeria do not have any moral, they don't protect any moral interest of any ethnic group in Nigeria. They do not protect any moral interest of any ethnic nationality in Nigeria. And the time has come that we begin to adopt the West style of civilization. So we are also demanding that our interests, our moral interests, will be protected. And the only place it can be protected is in Biafra nation, where we have where our diversity is completely dissolved, and we can progress and build our nation as people with the same cultural value, with the same moral value system, with everything the same. We have no same moral value system with the northern Nigeria. We do not have anything in common. In fact, it is 1,000 pole apart, clashing of interest. So when you are trying to protect your moral value in Nigeria, where a northerner is a jihadist, where the whole system has been colonized, it does not work. They look for you to kill. Now I am preaching that our people need to have freedom, and they are placing $100,000 bounty on my head. As you can see, they have increased the money from $50,000 to $100,000 because I am asking for freedom. The moral value system can never be protected in Nigeria, and the picture here explains it. Nigeria retirees and European retirees. This cannot be accepted anymore. We want to give our retirees a good life and a better standard of living. We cannot continue to allow retirees to live like animals, like you see them sitting on the street, while in Europe, retirees are well treated and have people taking care of them. We want a Biafra where this moral value that has been bastardized, as you can see in the picture, will be respected and protected. Thank you, and let us continue.
I will tell you, I travel around the United States, and I have seen the Ukrainian flag fly in places most of you probably never heard of in the United States.
Biafra flag will be next. Ukrainian flag is flying most places where everybody did not, where most of people didn't know they exist. And I just pray that we did not go to the point where the Biafra flag have to fly everywhere in America before our freedom is given to us.
Storefronts.
Because it can be avoided by just requesting for referendum, and everybody will vote, and after that everybody will go to his house and answer his father's name.
In front of homes, and proudly wearing, Americans proudly wearing the colors. The American people are aware of the images you project. The American people take great pride in a fight for independence.
American people take great pride in a fight for independence. I want you to understand that it is not only America that take great pride in the fight for independence. Biafran people are just as human beings as American people, and we have decided to emulate you by taking pride in the fight for independence. And this is not the independence of another country. We are not taking pride in fighting for independence of another country. Rather, we are taking pride now in the fight of our own independence, of our own life, of our own future. And we are appealing to you, if this comes to your table, because it is going to come by the time Biafra succeed in stopping this particular fraud on the election, it will come to your table. When it comes to your table, please remember that we want to emulate you by taking pride in fighting for freedom that is not for another people. but for ourselves and for our future. Please, it's a plea and appeal I am making to America and to the world that America should not be the only country that will fight and get pride in fighting for freedom. We are not fighting for another country's freedom. We are not taking pride in that. We don't have the capacity to do that yet. But at least we are taking pride, the Biafra people, in standing very tall against Nigeria to fight for our own freedom. That's what we are starting from this year. And so this coming week may not be very funny to the world.
That being part of the foundation of our nation and our principles and values. I think about where the United States is going on this issue based on the track record of where we've been.
This is exactly the track record of where America has been. I am not here to talk against America, but we can see the track record in Afghanistan. We have seen the track record. Okay? We've seen the track record in Libya. We've seen the track record in Iraq. We've seen the track record in Syria. Okay? That is not to say that whatever they did that time was wrong, but it's a track record we are talking about, right? And we have been killed in millions. America supported it at some point. In the 60s, during the Biafra war, we were killed. America, the world watched how they starved us to death. And Biafra people, children, died in their millions. And that war has not ended. It still continues. The starvation has not ended. It still continues. So this particular broadcast today is going to be very short, so that the world will understand that we have a problem, and this problem needs to be solved. We do not need to go into war to solve it. There is a possibility that your action and not overlooking Africa will solve this problem without combat. But the point I'm trying to make today as a representative of Biafra people is that Biafra is also ready to go the round for the second time. That is what it takes. Those people that are making comments on social media, they are just minority. They have access to the internet, and they can make noise on social media. Those people following P2B and co, they just have access to the internet. They are ignorant of their own problem. And the majority of America did not agree for America to go to Afghanistan. There are opposition parties that did not accept American invasion in Iraq. There are opposition political parties that did not accept America going to invade Syria. There are opposition political parties and Americans, millions, that did not agree with Obama when Obama invaded Libya. It is normal. So the question here is that the majority of Biafra people want to leave Nigeria. So P2B, as a single person who does not have anything to offer, cannot be a distraction to whether our moral interests should be protected outside Nigeria or not. To know whether our future should be protected outside Nigeria or not. I want to say this thing, and I'm expecting that one day this whole thing will escalate if you people do not want to intervene and solve it now that it has not escalated. Because definitely, freedom, everybody knows freedom is not given, it's taken. Just like the Ukrainians are taking their own by force against Russia, we are going to take our own also against Nigeria. And we are doing that already. It is important that this particular coming week, that Nigeria is planning to murder our people by deploying 400,000 policemen. These policemen are security agencies. Some of them are ex-Boko Haram members that they have recruited, rehabilitated according to them, and recruited into the system. And they are not coming to Biafra land to, follow the rule of engagement or follow the rule of law. They are coming to kill. They are coming to cause chaos. They are coming to cause crisis. And the ignorant people will say, oh, you are the one causing it because you are agitating and fighting for your freedom. Is that a justification to come and start killing innocent people because Simon Ekpa is preaching the freedom of Biafra? Do you justify that? I want everybody to know that this message today must be caught and edited and shared and let it go to the world. We are going to broadcast it, share it to all media that you know. So they understand that we are not shaking. We are going to stand on our ground of no election, only referendum will be allowed in Biafra land. And next week, Biafra people are going to speak. We are going to speak in a very strong voice that will shock the world.
You only have to look at where we were a year ago and where we are today in terms of the contributions and resources that America has put into everything from ammunition to artillery to air defense.
Sometimes these ammunitions and defense goes into the wrong hand. I'm not talking about Ukraine, but I'm talking from the history. We have the same value system with America. Why are you not giving us arms to defend ourselves against terrorists and jihadist government? Why do you have to give arms to people that do not have the same faith with you? I'm not talking about Ukraine, and don't get me wrong. I'm talking about the past and previous investment of America in Arab countries. Why do you go to support Afghanistan Taliban? Why do you go to give arms to them? You don't have the same faith. You don't have the same cultural value system. You don't even have the same moral interest. Your moral interests are not the same. Why do you choose to fund and arm them, for whatever reason, and now we are now in a state of anarchy in our land against Nigeria. Nigeria state is coming and committing genocide in our land, killing us just because we want to demand our right to govern ourselves. We want to demand independence. Just want to enjoy, just like Ukraine has been. We want to do and live like the people in Europe. Is that a crime? The investment you can do that will benefit you will be the only investment America and Europe can do now is to support Biafra exit from Nigeria. We have the resources, we have the minerals, we have whatever you take, we have the brain. And working with Biafra people will be the best thing for global peace. For peace in Africa, for peace in the Sahel. So that the influx of immigrants from Africa, which is mainly being supplied by Nigeria, to Europe will reduce. Once that's reduced, it will reduce the crime that Nigerians are committing all over the world. So it is for your interest. And I will, at this juncture, bring the video of this man who also lamented how Boko Haram will take over Nigeria and will turn Nigeria and they make Nigeria safe haven, and at the end of the day they are going to attack America. With the emergence of Biafra as a nation, they can never succeed in attacking America. So I want everybody to watch.
They're willing to cooperate because of that, because they know each other, because there's some tribal ties and engagements that allow them to work together, whereas in other parts of the world they have different objectives and a little bit different view. And so they tend to bring Islamic State and Al-Qaeda into conflict. Here, they're able to overcome that, and that's what, and work for a common purpose in their mind. I think long term, we don't know when this will happen, but long term they want to establish themselves, they want to establish a caliphate, and they are willing, we know they have not only the desire, but the will to attack the United States in the West.
You see, in the long time, they don't know when this is going to be. They don't know when this is going to be, but in the long time, they know that they're going to attack the United States and the West. I didn't say it. It's coming from a general who has been in the Sahel region. So let us listen to him again.
I think long term, we don't know when this will happen. They want to establish themselves, they want to establish a caliphate, and they are willing, we know they have not only the desire, but the will to attack the United States in the West.
When they establish the caliphate, Once they found Nigeria a safe haven, establish a caliphate, they are going to attack America and the West. That's what we're fighting. You see? So when you disintegrate Nigeria, you have disintegrated this threat that is a futuristic threat that is posing to, against America and the West. So I want everybody to understand that when we are fighting for our freedom, we are fighting for the safety of Europe and the safety of America. Because once they succeed in taking Nigeria, just like they take Afghanistan, that is the end. You are all going to be in hell, waiting for any day that the caliphate from Nigeria will come to Europe and attack you. They are going to be sponsoring terrorists into Europe, and it is going to happen, but we are going to stop them this year.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats now so we can prepare the room for the next session. Vote for your Ukraine policy.
I think, should I start, Nadia? Yeah. I think it is important that we're very clear about what this Russian war is. It is about Putin's imperialistic plans. And this is something where all of us, and mainly the global south, have a very, it is completely unacceptable. And countries on the other side have a long-standing experience. First, you send the negotiators in, then you send, they see that the experts are being sent in, and then it's the mercenaries that are being sent in. So what we have to do is not only explain that we will never ever accept this imperialistic war, we will never ever accept that Putin is trampling on the international law that protects all of us. That the UN Charter, that is also in the interest, I mean, it's in the interest of every single country, is being treated so disrespectful, and that we will never accept that today you can send tanks just across the border to invade a country.
And I want to also remind the European Union that everything that they have said here, the Nigerian government has done it in Biafra land. The Nigerian government has breached and violated all available international law. They have committed extraordinary rendition, kidnapping Mazin Africano from Kenya because Africa is corrupt and nobody is talking. And Mazin Africano is a British citizen, and they kidnap him from Kenya, rendition him, torture him for 8 days, subject him to all manner of degrading treatment and human rights abuse and torture, and sent him to Nigeria and incarcerated him. He didn't end there. I want to inform the European Union that in addition to this, the United Nations Arbitrary Committee on against torture and arbitrary detention also have issued ultimatum to the Nigeria state to release Mazin Africano within 6 months and compensate him. 6 months has expired. Nigeria violated that particular directive from the United Nations. I want to inform Europe that Nigerian government have committed as worse crime than Russia put against the Biafra. The only difference here is that Biafra at this day is still within the Nigeria state, and they are sending the military attacks to Biafra land within Nigeria to kill their own citizens. The difference here is that while Putin is sending military tanks across border, Nigeria is sending military tanks within its own border as Nigeria state, and they are killing their own citizens, and nobody is stopping. So I want Europe to understand that Nigeria state has committed worse crime. The number of deaths being recorded in Nigeria every day outnumber 100 times the number of deaths being recorded in Ukraine, with all the military strike and the tanks that Russia is sending to Ukraine. So I want this particular record to be very straight, that purity, civil war is ongoing in Nigeria, and the Biafra people cannot take it anymore. And we do not want to be part of a country like that again. There is no plan for development. There is no plan for innovative future in Nigeria. Everything is going down, and their plan is just to Islamize us and turn us into caliphate. And we are not going to accept that kind of arrangement. You cannot force us to change our faith from Christian to caliphate. To Muslims, we are not Muslims. We are very, very different people. Our cultures are different, languages are different, everything is different. So, and this particular issue that is happening today, the crisis in Nigeria, is a long time coming. It's a history that we have. We cannot continue to overlook this historic mistake and miscarriage of justice against the Biafra people. And we are going to go into the poll this coming week to validate Nigeria again. So we are putting this to the notice to the Americans, to the Europeans, to understand that we are also human beings fighting for our future, fighting for rights to live, fighting for right to existence, fighting for the right to practice our faith and religion, fighting for the right to participate in a democratic process that is globally acceptable. And the democratic process starts by allowing the people to choose how they want to live their life freely. And if you do not allow them to choose, then you are inviting anarchy, and they have to revolt against the system. And that is happening already. Let us continue.
And this is something which my experience in the last 12 months needs a lot of just work, to work together with the Global South, to make understood our point of view, but also to work with them on dealing with the knock-on effect of this atrocious war. This is the food crisis, this is the energy crisis, and that we do our utmost to deal with the knock-on effects in a way that the Global South does not suffer too much from Putin's war of aggression. This is our task. It's hard work, but it's absolutely worth it.
Prime Minister Myron, somebody as cult a hero around the world as President Lula of Brazil also doesn't believe in the intervention that you all have taken in NATO against, as you described, the illegal invasion of one country by a bigger country. So, as Commissioner von der Leyen says, we will never support this. We understand the historic issues. How do you see?
Now, this is another comment from another country president that they will never support this, that they understand the historical issue. The question I want to ask to America, to Europe today: what do you know about Nigeria historical issues? What do you know? How conversant are you with the Nigeria historical issues? How conversant are you with the formation of Nigeria? How conversant are you with the Biafran plight in Nigeria? How conversant are you with all these historical issues about Nigeria, and how do you intend to deal with it? Because it is all about now the historical, that they know historical issues. So I hope that you are all aware of the historical issues when it comes to Nigeria, because from next week it is going to be an escalation. That escalation will definitely call your attention that you start talking about it. So I hope that when this time comes, you are going to know the historical issues of Nigeria, because the discussion will be coming from that particular perspective, the historical issue in Nigeria. Very, very important. Right, let us continue.
Trying to convince others of the justness of your cause.
The war in Ukraine, it's not only an issue for Europe, it's an issue for the whole world. And that's because there's a war of values going on. Authoritarian.
Exactly the same thing, my Prime Minister. What we are fighting for has become the fight for value. Everything has to do with value system. Now, do you have the same value system with the caliphate? The answer is no. Do you have the same value system with the jihadists? The answer is no. The only people that you have the same value system with are the Igbos, are the Biafrans, are the Efis, are all the other ethnic groups that comprise the Biafra people. These are the people that you have the same value system with. You don't have the value system with the Fulanis, with the nomadic terrorists. You don't have the same value system with these jihadists. You don't have the same value system with the Taliban of Nigeria. So you have the same value system with us. And it is the same clash of interests that they have subjugated us into this slavery by mistake because of the British interest. Britain left the European Union and they voted, and a lot of people in Britain voted against leaving the European Union. Something is happening in Biafra today. So people, if you ask the question, are you sitting at home? No, I'm not sitting at home because I want Biafra. They are forcing me. But you want Biafra? Yes. The same thing is happening in Europe. Something has happened to the United Kingdom. Something will continue to happen, and it is normal in democracy. Some people will agree, some people will not agree. But at the end of the day, majority carries the vote. During the time the United Kingdom was exiting the European Union, a lot of people in the United Kingdom objected it. Even to today, some people are still objecting it, that it was not the right decision. Yet, they insisted. We are asking to have the same right of existence, that we respect our rights and our value. Why I'm making this broadcast today is that it's going to go down in history. In the next coming week, it will be unbelievable. And your attention must be called when the time comes. So you have to learn to respect our own value and our own rights to protect that particular value system, the interest that follows it. That's all I'm preaching. And that's why I have invested and sacrificed my life, put my life in danger to make sure that I educate my people that they have a choice. They have a choice not to validate Nigeria this country. And they have agreed that they are not going to validate Nigeria. So if Nigeria is bringing security agents to kill us like they do in the past, we have already arms which we are using to defend ourselves. We are going to defend the land of Biafra. And it will not end well.
Countries are raising their heads. They are raising their heads against the international rule-based order. And this is a problem for everyone. When Russia attacked Ukraine, it violated all the rules, all the agreements it has itself been committed to before.
Exactly the same thing. When Nigeria went to Kenya to kidnap a British citizen who happened to come from Biafra land, they violated every international agreement. When Nigeria refused to obey United Nations Arbitrary Committee, they violated international law. A violation of the law is a violation of the law. Law is law. Violation of international treaty, violation of international instrument, violation of international agreement is a violation of international agreement. Cross-border crime. A cross-border crime is a cross-border crime. Nigeria has committed that crime. Nigeria has disobeyed the United Nations. They have no regard to international agreement. They have no regard to international law. We cannot choose to continue to live a life like that. So we want to enjoy the same rights, just like every one of you in the European Union.
And this is a problem for everyone, because then we will only see decades of this kind of behavior ahead of us if Ukraine doesn't win the war and if we don't stand behind our values and the international rule-based order. So I think
that is it. Ukraine is definitely going to win the war because they are fighting for their rights. So they are definitely going to win the war. But we are also standing behind our value. Our Prime Minister, a very, very brilliant lady, she is speaking in mind, just like, every in an average thing. They pour out their heart when they talk. So she's speaking it the way it is. We stand struggling behind our value system. And that's what is driving and propelling Simon Ekpa to do what he is doing today. And I'm not going to stop. Rather, I am increasing the tempo. This fire is increasing. And by tomorrow, from tomorrow going forward, the fire will go to the highest degree. Because I am standing very strongly behind my values, which is not the same with the caliphates that are ruling Nigeria and the bandits that are ruling Nigeria.
this is a larger issue than just issue for Europe, just issue for Ukraine. And we have to do utmost to make sure that Ukraine will win and that we will preserve this system of rules that we have created together. And there was a reason why this was created. The wars before, wars that we have seen, and it was devastating. And that's why we built a system where we can negotiate, where we can build peace.
Exactly. The reason all these things were, put in place, NATO, United Nations, is because of the devastated war that we have fought. So the world came together to look for a way to negotiate for peace. Today, there is still that opportunity to negotiate for peace in Nigeria. And the only thing that will bring this peace in Nigeria is this particular disintegration, to disintegrate these our differences. It's not too much to ask. That is the work of the United Nations. The crisis in Nigeria, the terrorism in Nigeria that is being funded by a particular region from the north, have to end. How do you end it? Look at it. What is the cause of this terrorism in Nigeria? The cause is that the jihadists, the caliphate, want to take over Nigeria. In case you do not know the reason why they want to take over Nigeria, I want to bring it to the table, because you need to know the causes of what is happening. I want everybody to pay attention to this particular video. Now, why are we, why is this issue of the disintegration of Nigeria have to happen? And why should the United Nations intervene? The reason is here.
Hello, welcome to a spirited debate of Laura Green. Boko Haram has been terrorizing Nigeria's Christian community for years now, victimizing those who would stand in the group's way of creating an Islamic state. Christian Solidarity International is on the ground in Nigeria, working with victims to give them support they need. Franco Kumayo is the program manager of Nigeria's projects and joins me now to explain the religious tensions smoldering in this region. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You know, the interesting thing about Boko Haram, which I didn't know before, is that they really come out of Sudan. And we know the struggle was in Sudan, where they broke the country in two. So explain where they come from.
Well, I can put it this way. Nigeria, after independence, the first two missions they have, one was in London and one was in New York. The third mission after that was in Sudan. And there is a reason for that. Sudan is the shortcut to Mecca. Someone from Nigeria